Well, welcome into the Danny's Servance show. We were going to call it Danny's Den, but we decided to just call it the Danny's Servance show. But Danny, I tell you what, it's been a tough one for you so far, but the kids have really showed what they're made of. You've never been out of a ball game. You've been in every ball game, and just some tough breaks here and there and turnovers. I tell you, I've talked to every coach, and turnovers just seem to be abundant around the area.
Well, I'll tell you what, our kids are relentless and very resilient in their work ethic and their effort on the field. Like you said, we had some miscues as far as turnovers were concerned, and so it's hard to overcome those things when you have turnovers.
And Red Oak's a pretty good team, probably going to be contending for the district championship before it's all said and done. So how did you look against them? Do you feel like you matched up pretty well and just made a few mistakes? Or?
Well, I think our youth showed against those guys. And, you can either go two ways after playing a game like they played the week before against Belton on ESPN. Either you can ride that momentum into the next game, or you can still be patting yourself on the back. And I was thinking that maybe they'd still be patting themselves on the back, but no such luck. They were riding the wave, and, man, we caught a really good team who were hot, and they played really well.
Yeah, those of you know what Danny's talking about, they came back in the last week before last, against Lake Belton with the touchdown pass in the closing seconds of the game in the end zone to win the ball game. So I can see him riding that high into your game, and they might have even shown it in the locker room before they came out to play against you. But you have to throw that out of the way and say, hey, we've got to move on to the next game. It's the Shoemaker Gray Wolves. They're in the same spot you're in. They need to win the game also. It's going to be a good one out at Searle Stadium on Friday night.
Always a great ball game when we play Coach Foreman and Shoemaker. They're well coached. They do a great job. A lot of these kids have grown up together, played on these little league teams together, and so they know each other. So it's personal for those kids, and they don't want to lose to the other. And, it's good for the community, too. Alumni, so getting into it, and anytime you play a cross-rival game, it's always fun.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get a bet going between Roy and Tommy if I can. Roy, a graduate of Shoemaker, and Tommy, of course, an Ellison Eagle. I'm going to get on the Twitter here later on in the day and see if I can get something going between those two as y'all square off this week. Would like to see those two on the field. That might not be too bad either, huh?
Man, wouldn't that be greght? Yeah.
Well, you've got a young guys. Tommy Harris and Keyshawn Meeks, don't you?
Well, yeah, we do. He's a terrific player. Right now, he's, I think, second in the district in tackles, and he's just a phenomenal football player and our leader on defense for sure, and one of our team captains. And like I said, he just does a tremendous job on the football field, and he kind of has egos. We go on defense, so we need him to just stay healthy and continue playing good football.
Yeah, you look at the defensive line. You're not giving up a lot of yards rushing, and through the air is where it's happening to you. So you have to put back, extra defensive back there to try and stop that, or what?
Well, I'll tell you what, defensively, like you said up front, those guys are playing terrific. They're holding their own. They're playing gap sound defense, getting a lot of guys to the football and gang tackling when we get there, and that's how you play good defense. And we're forcing people to throw the ball because they can't run, so we're needing that young secondary to grow up in a hurry. We've had some good plays the last couple of weeks. I know DeAndre Bell had an interception. Jacoby Freeman had a pick six this past week for a touchdown. So those guys are getting better each week, and this will be a great week for them to kind of come out of their shell.
We can get all of them playing together on the same page and
Absolutely.
all that kind of stuff. But like you said, you played a tough schedule to get you to this point. So how do you feel about I know Shoemaker poses a lot of different things. Toby will throw everything with the kitchen sink at you. So you've got to be ready for just about everything on defense when they get their offense on the field.
I tell you what, he does a great job by formation, trying to get you in a certain look that he knows you're going to be in when he gives you a certain formation. And then, he calls great plays to fit those formations. So, we're going to have to do a great job, like I said, of just executing what we do. That's what we've talked about this week. Not so much worrying about the other team, but trying to make sure that we're doing the very best that we can do in getting all of our stuff ironed out, and so we can cut the mistakes out. And so we feel like if we do that, we give ourselves a greater chance.
Yeah, and your offense, you get it going. They've got a pretty good defense over there. Malika Square, of course, a Texas Tech commit over there on the other side of the ball. I know you wanted him to go to Baylor, but he's out of Texas Tech and to go to school out there. And so they've got a pretty tough little defense, pretty fast.
Well,
I think y'all match up pretty well against each other, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We're very similar, I think, in what we do, both offensively and especially on the defensive side of the ball. I've even worked with one of the guys on their defensive staff, or he worked for me previously, and so we know each other and kind of know what each other like to do, and so that also makes for it to be very interesting. And so it's going to be a great ball game, a great atmosphere, and it's always good for our community to have these two teams play.
Well, I think you need to start calling the plays, because I watched Brett Venables start calling plays last week as a defensive coordinator. He called some offensive plays.
Yeah.
Put up 70 points.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, I don't know. I've kind of moved down on that end a little bit too, and try to be more involved in the offense. That's one thing I've always wanted to do since I've been coaching. Just hadn't really worked out that way. But now I am moving down on the offensive side of the ball. So we'll see what happens.
There's a different look for an offensive and the defensive coach, and you've got that defensive coach look. That's why it is, brother.
Hey, I just can't stay away from the defense. I don't know what it is. Guess because I've done it all my life. But
right.
Like I said, I'm trying to move down to the other end.
But well-rounded coach.
That's right.
That's the best way to play.
Absolutely.
Kids are looking good, healthy.
We're banged up a little bit, but it's
after playing Red Oak.
Yeah, it's to be expected this time of year too. We had the first week open, and then we started after that. So there's no rest for the weary because there's no open week coming, and so we're gonna have to just try and piece this thing together until the end. And so we've got to get some guys healthy, but we'll be ready to go.
And you can't trade that bye with somebody else. There's no trading.
No, you can't.
Y'all can't go in a room before you. Hey, we got the schedules together. Let's move these things around a little bit.
No trading. I wish we could, but no. That was the luck of the draw, and so we've been that way for the last 2 years. And speaking of that, that's coming up here in February, realignment. So we'll have to draw all over again and see, where we end up.
Yeah, numbers are going to have to be put together. When does that enrollment figure get turned in?
It should be here pretty quick.
It's October sometime, I think.
Yeah, it should be here pretty quick. They'll do the campus snapshot.
Don't count me. Just because I'm here every once in a while.
Don't count you?
I did graduate from here, so I've got my diploma at the house if anybody wants to see it.
Right, yeah.
I do have some college eligibility left, but bad knees, so you don't want me.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I think our numbers are where we may switch places with Chaparral and be 5A Division 2 and they be 5A Division 1. I know we hadn't lost many students. I think we were projected to lose quite a few, but we hadn't lost as many as the projection said.
Yeah, no, I saw with the growth across the state, the numbers of the line, the number snapshots are going to be different. They're going to be different levels, cutoff numbers, I should say. So those will be different too. But we need to worry about beating the Shoemaker Grey Wolves tonight. Of course, I'll be talking to Toby in a little while and talk to all y'all every Wednesday. I come by and visit everybody, and I tell you, everybody's in a good mood right now, ready for Friday night. You're ready to get things going. I got my steroid shot, so I'm feeling good too.
Hey, there you go.
So,
there you go.
We just got to go out there and beat those Shoemaker Gray Wolves. Is all we have to do.
That's all we have to do.
4 quarters of football together and just don't stop.
You know, that's really the thing. We've got to put 4 quarters together, and you know, I feel like if we can do that and not shoot ourselves in the foot, we've got a great opportunity to win the ball game.
Yep. And I'm gonna be there on the sidelines to see you, buddy. I'll try and stay out of trouble too.
All right. Yeah, please do that.
Yeah, okay. Danny, I appreciate you so much, and as always, I give you the last word, buddy.
Go Eagles.
You are watching I-14 Sports Network.